Hey everybody, just a quick check-in with everyone on a Friday afternoon. So we've completed week 3. I'm just going to go over some things to wrap up week 3 and to transition to week 4. So here is our home page. I'm going to start putting some specific announcements that I want to help stand out from just the normal week 3 information which you'd see here, or week 4 in this case for next week. So here we're highlighting the unit exam study guide that was posted to D2L at the beginning of this week. Our first unit exam is on September 30th. You will have an hour and 15 minutes to take the exam anytime between 7:30 a.m. and 11:30 p.m. on that one day, Monday. The exam consists of 25 short answer questions. Each is worth worth 4 points. The exam is worth a total of 100 points. So the study guide, if you go back under course materials, under content, there's a tab down here for unit exam study guides. And here's the exam. It gives you the 3 dates of the different exams we're going to have specifically here. So I'm referring to September 30th, which covers chapters 1 and 2. And the study guide is here, and you can download it right here. And this is the basic information that we just reviewed there. So just to stay on top of activities and assignments and due dates, make sure you're always going back to our course calendar here. We again are starting week 4 right here. It tells you what reading needs to be done, reflection being due, discussion as well. So just make sure you're staying on top of your course schedule for all those kinds of specifics. So going back to our home page here. Here is week 3. You had a reflection essay 2 due this week. You had your biopsychosocial personality essays due as well. I have graded those. Grades are posted. Make sure you're reading some of the comments I make on your papers, some sort of emoticons I use, comments. There's also an attached rubric on D2L that you can open and see how your grade was determined. This will be updated by the end of the day today, welcoming you to week 4. So let's just take a look a little bit at week 4 under content. We're still in unit 1 and we have week 4 right here. So week 4 is going to continue the discussion of chapter 2 on neuroscience and behavior with a guided tour of the brain this time. We've discussed the neurons, we've discussed the nervous system, and now we're going to get into more the anatomy of the brain, and again in a very practical way. Reading pages for this part are about 20 pages from 55 to 75. These are the different, what we call again, these mini lessons, which really highlight some of the key aspects to each of the chapters. It does not by any means go over everything. To do that, you need to read your text, and also these PowerPoints for each chapter are always there to help guide you through the chapter. What I do want to just briefly review with you is this topic right here on this, what we're calling the dynamic brain, and just give you more of a personalized understanding of this. One of the questions we think about with the brain is whether it's set in terms of its capacity, how much you can hold, how much you can do, and how much it functions. In other words, is it fixed for life? And the really good news about this is that it's not. That we're not sort of stuck with the brains that we have. The brain can change its physical structure by experience, and it also has a remarkable capacity to change in response to trauma, and we'll talk about those details in just a moment. The 2 types of what we call plasticity, which is just simply your brain's ability to change. One is functional, the other is structural. Functional plasticity is when we could actually shift functions from damaged brain areas to undamaged brain areas. So for example, in the case of a stroke victim, they can actually relearn tasks when undamaged brain areas gradually take on those responsibilities that the now damaged areas can no longer do because of the stroke. It's sort of the analogy I like to use if you think of like a garden hose. So water comes in, and in that kink or knot that you might have in a garden hose, it sort of gets stopped. I mean, that's what brain damage is. The messaging cannot get through. In this case, neurons cannot send messages because there's damage to neurons and it can't get to the other side. You unkink that and the messages can go further. So what happens in the brain is when they reach those damaged, brain damaged areas, they start going to the left, they go to the right, they start creating their own networks around it. So that's functional plasticity. Structural plasticity is with the brain's ability to change actually its physical structure in learning, in response to learning. So right now, as you're learning about the brain, you are actually changing your brain. Active practice, rehearsing something, memorizing things, and certainly experiences. So for example, in a study that was done after 10 weeks of learning a foreign language, we actually saw increases in gray matter in the hippocampus, which is our memory zone. That's the structure that stores most of our memory. So again, the brain is very plastic. It has lots of plasticity and can change. The other thing that we know, which is another great feature, is neurogenesis, that we're always developing new neurons. And every day you might generate 1,000 new neurons each day, which really gives us a lot of hope that we can change and we can change behavior. I think that's it for now. I'm going to sign off. I will be checking back in with you. I am planning to schedule our first WebEx meeting for Wednesday morning, probably around 11 o'clock. I'm going to get those invites open. If you could attend, great. We're going to talk a couple little more mini lessons, and we're also going to do a little bit of a review for the exam and just a chance for any of you to ask questions, general questions about the exam or general questions about the course. You will receive a WebEx invite. You can respond to that invite whether you can attend or can't. I will be posting videos of those WebExes, so if you can attend, and I understand you might not be able to based on your work and life schedule and school schedule, you can watch the video. I will change up those times for the WebEx meeting, so you always, hopefully, there will be a time where you could attend. Well, that does it. Thanks again for a great week. I really appreciated reading your biopsychosocial essays, and please stay in touch.